Welcome to Besiege Bots, the real home of robotic combat in Besiege. In this episode of the Heavyweight Havoc, we continue the final phase of the tournament, beginning with the other side of the round of 12 and the Losers Rumble. For this episode, we take a look at the second bracket, where we have the following matchups: Hackapolita versus Megaminer, Huge Parasite versus Terabyte, and last but not least, Quack 4 versus Vertically Inclined. Let's not dwell on the details any longer and move straight into the fights. And off we go for the first matchup. Hackapolita is 4-2, Megaminer's 5-1 from their preliminaries. Let's see how they do. Megaminer's big shot here is to disable the motor of Hackapolita, which is right next to the bar. If the pickaxe can dig into that, he has a good chance, but right now, being controlled fairly well by Hackapolita. Hackapolita's stuck on the rotating plate, coming in for another hit, he gets a decent hit there. Oh, splits Megaminer's frame in half. The back is now only attached by a single piece connection. That is not good. Speaking of which, it just broke in half. The mobile part is not the part with the hammer, so that's going to be a pretty big problem for Megaminer. Hackapolita trying to get the... I couldn't even say it before it did it. Hackapolita with the Uda KO. A very systematic KO from Hackapolita there. Lots of good hits, broke it in half. Match 1 winner is Hackapolita. Let's see how round 2 goes. And off they go. Megaminer has to win this fight, otherwise it ends up in the Losers Rumble. Wow, what a crash across the arena there. That was a high top speed. Hackapolita with another good hit. Megaminer trying to dig into that fairly hollow chassis, I guess is the best way to describe Hackapolita. The pickaxe on Megaminer could really dig in there, but once again, Hackapolita just with tons of offensive pressure and damage split Megaminer clean down the middle again. This time both sides are still attached, but I shouldn't say that too soon, because Megaminer is in a lot of trouble here. There was a good hit from Megaminer, inverting Hackapolita. Hackapolita gets back up. Oh, is on the pit though. Gets away, gets another nice hit on Megaminer. That's some great tactical placement by Megaminer as it snaps in half. In exactly the same way, too. Hackapolita once again moving in for that Uda KO, trying to finish this fight as quick as it can. Almost drives one side of his wheels into the pit there, in the rush to get this thing out. Lining it up again in the blue corner, just like it did before. Megaminer doesn't want to be there. Gets thrown again onto the air plate. Hackapolita still chasing, trying to knock out the mobile piece. If he does that, the match is over. Megaminer's chances of victory here are slim, is saying it mildly. It's I think there's another piece into space on Megaminer. Hackapolita with a really good hit there again. Breaks to not break itself, but that's not coming back. That's another Uda KO for Hackapolita. Once again, just Hackapolita systematically taking down Megaminer, meaning it's our 5th quarterfinalist. And off we go. Huge Parasite and Terabyte immediately moving to the center of the arena. That's where Terabyte wants to fight. Huge Parasite has the advantage of being a giant wedge here, but we've seen Terabyte bite through quite a few opponents with that deadly shell spinner on top. Let's see how it goes. A big hit already sustained on Huge Parasite there. We could see the frame shake. It also lost a flying block. Oh, and an arm. Oof, that's some big damage right there. Arm has fallen off, gets flung into the arena corner. Oh, there's a lot of damage in Huge Parasite's frame. Pauses there for a second. That was questionable driving from the driver. Maybe he had some latency issues there. Huge Parasite avoiding Terabyte's shell by going over the air pit. Trying to keep that already pretty damaged wedge. Well, it doesn't even matter anymore because Terabyte's shell just exploded. This is why Terabyte never wants to fight anywhere near walls or hazards or anything like that. Because grabbers are notoriously unstable pieces, and if you hit them too hard into a level surface, it usually breaks. Because of the physics engine giving up, not because it's supposed to break. Huge Parasite with a somewhat overkill pin right there, trying to score that control desperately, turning around, trying to face what is left of Terabyte. That's such a tiny robot now. I think that would barely qualify as an ant weight at this point. That's hilarious. Anyway, opens the pit for some reason. I guess that's Terabyte's best way to win this, by opening the pit, but at the same time, not really. I mean, oh, each Parasite almost flings it straight into the pit with the one arm it has left. Moves it in a little bit. I think he's trying to hook it in, because Terabyte is having some questionable positioning here. Oh, what a gentle KO from Huge Parasite there. That is a pick KO in favor of Huge Parasite, meaning it wins the first fight. Let's see if Terabyte can claw it back. And off they go. Terabyte and Huge Parasite immediately to the center of the arena. Big hit from Terabyte. Terabyte spins down. Huge Parasite trying to apply pressure. Trying to put those arms underneath the shell of Terabyte. We saw in the previous fight that didn't really work, but he's doing a good job here. Almost flips over Terabyte. Terabyte, luckily for the driver, lands upright, but it's Huge Parasite with the offensive momentum here, getting underneath Terabyte. Terabyte does not want to spin up near any of the walls, wants to get out of there. Bumps into the floor bouncer as Huge Parasite travels over it. Huge Parasite staying very aggressive, trying to not give Terabyte a moment to spin up, but unfortunately gets hitched up on the air pit. That's going to slow it down a bit. Terabyte trying to get back to the center of the arena. There it is. That's the safe spot it likes to fight Huge Parasite. Huge Parasite again boxing it in with those huge arms, making it fairly easy. Doesn't want to spin up again. Some questionable camera work later. We see Huge Parasite's right arm is actually stuck in the pit. Terabyte choosing to not score any aggression whatsoever here. Really staying in the center of the arena, playing it very safe. That's going to count against it later if this comes to a judge's decision. Terabyte with some decent hits there. Huge Parasite once again just being the aggressor here. Terabyte trying to come in for a hit. Gets a decent hit there, but gets bounced up by Huge Parasite. Now stuck on Huge Parasite's right arm. Gets back off. Huge Parasite clamps the underside, that is the chassis below there, but doesn't quite get it. The arm gets stuck under the frame. Oh, Parasite has actually taken quite a substantial amount of internal damage. It's not so easy to see, but if the frame starts flexing outwards like it's doing right there, that means that Huge Parasite has taken a lot of internal damage. Huge Parasite gets back up, immediately facing down Terabyte again. Really aggressive, but then again, it comes from the Institution of Insanity team, so it is to be expected. Huge Parasite trying to protect its face now. Must have taken a lot of damage to need to resort to that. Terabyte just staying in the center of the arena, not scoring any aggression outside of just straight weapon hits, which is a little bit disappointing from the shell spinner. You would imagine that an archetype like that would drive a little more aggressively, but unfortunately this is not the case, due to the volatile nature of grabbers, as I explained earlier. Huge Parasite just again and again slamming into Terabyte. It's not looking too pretty. The frame's falling apart, the wedge is ruined, but he's still hanging in there, getting a clamp on Terabyte there. Terabyte near the pit, doesn't want to stay there. Slightly moving towards Huge Parasite, but staying in the middle of the arena again. Oh, there's some bigger damage being done to Huge Parasite. The entire right side has been just pulled out, essentially, because the sliders holding the frame together there are bending and twisting very far, way beyond what they should be able to. Huge Parasite, once again though, keeping that offensive momentum by staying in Terabyte's face. Didn't quite get the clamp there. Oh, the back is facing Terabyte. There goes a wheel. Terabyte stops spinning though, doesn't want to fight in this corner here. It's another decent hit on Huge Parasite there. Huge Parasite coming, staying aggressive, clamping the underside of Terabyte again. Terabyte doesn't want to spin up near the wall. Some great control here from Huge Parasite. Its face is hanging off and everything, but it's being aggressive here. Terabyte gets out, and that's time. What a fantastic match that was. And by 23-22, Terabyte ends up taking it on damage. It lost on both aggression and control, but the damage 9-1 made it so that the Terabyte wins by judgment, meaning that we have one fight left between these two to decide who moves on. And off they go. Huge Parasite immediately trying to chase down Terabyte as it has done in the previous two fights. Gets a good side blow in there, Terabyte does. Two of the props inside of Huge Parasite have already come out. Terabyte definitely more aggressive in this fight. Huge Parasite taking a more defensive maneuver here. Oh, gets its arm stuck in the pit, moves it backwards. That's a bit of a downside to Huge Parasite's design. It gets stuck quite easily in things, especially with this long arm setup. Oh, its arms are stuck in the pit. Terabyte trying to go for a pit, misses. Huge Parasite gets his arms stuck in the pit again. It really needs to not fight near the pit. That seems to be a big downside to this design. Okay, gets a decent pop there on Terabyte. Terabyte gets a good hit there on the left arm. Does appear to have done some damage to it. It's Huge Parasite, though, controlling Terabyte here. Terabyte bouncing around. Huge Parasite positioning, clamping, putting it near the pit. Terabyte doesn't want to spin up, and it's in the pit. And that means that Huge Parasite wins by pit KO. Terabyte through to the Losers Rumble, and Huge Parasite, quarterfinalist. And off we go with the next matchup, Vertically Inclined versus Quack 4. Vertically Inclined is the only robot to go through its preliminaries 6-0. Let's see if it can make that happen against one of the more frightening spinners in the heavyweight roster. So far, it's Vertically Inclined with the flip, but also flips itself. It does appear to have done some damage to the back of Quack's frame. Another good flip there. Quack turns off the spinner to not explode. Doesn't want to have a grabber explosion, much like Terabyte had in the previous fights. Frame of Quack looks a little bit crooked. It's getting high-centered on itself, but Vertically Inclined has actually taken a lot of damage to its flipper mechanism. Backing away to see if the judges count out Quack, but Quack is too mobile, has to stay offensive here. Lifting the flipper up to keep it out of reach of Quack, maybe? I don't see the reasoning to do that, but I suppose it's less that Quack can easily grab? I'm not too sure. Quack, meanwhile, scoring a lot of hits here. Vertically Inclined backing away, losing some aggression points, opening the pit. Quack almost went for it, but saw what Vertically Inclined's plan was there. Gets a nice hit on the side of Vertically Inclined there. Another good pop on the side. Vertically Inclined staying aggressive though, staying in Quack's face. Trying to position it so that it can push it towards the pit by the looks of things. Good hit from Quack there again. A piece comes out of Vertically Inclined. Another piece comes out of Vertically Inclined that looked like a slider. Out comes a brace from Quack. Both robots sustaining damage back and forth here. Another good hit from Quack there. Quack trying desperately to do something to those two plows on the front of Vertically Inclined. They are giving it quite a bit of trouble here. Ooh, you can see the frame on Vertically Inclined buckle on that hit there. The braces on the side mounts of its flipper have completely come off. Another big hit from Quack. Oh, the frame is bending on Vertically Inclined there. You saw that briefly. The right-hand side came up. Another big pop from Quack. Another good hit from Quack there. And another good hit from Quack, almost pitting Vertically Inclined there. Vertically Inclined, though, has a pin going here. Pushing it around. Not really making much happen because the flipper doesn't work, but it's doing something, and there it goes down the pit. Quack with a good spin up there, throwing Vertically Inclined into the pit, making it win by pit KO. Vertically Inclined has to win the next matchup. Otherwise, it's into the Losers Rumble. And off they go. Vertically Inclined really needs to get the win here, otherwise it's into the Losers Rumble with a hammer and a shell spinner. Not exactly ideal matchups for a flipper. Right now, staying aggressive like it did in its first fight with Quack. Keeping those plows facing Quack. A little less flipper happy after its flipper got discombobulated in the previous fight. Doesn't want to have that happen again. Getting some decent hits. Trying to control Quack, but Quack with a good hit on the side there. Quack with another good hit. I think the flying block came out of Vertically Inclined. Oh, we have a bit of footage corruption there. A wheel comes off after I presume Vertically Inclined went for a flip. Vertically Inclined trying to go for another flip. Needs to get out of there before Quack gets a good hit. Gets back up onto its own wheel there. Vertically Inclined still mobile despite only having one wheel. There are gyroscopes underneath Vertically Inclined, which help it move if it loses one side of its wheels. So it is mobile for the time being. Oh, a big hit from Quack there. The bar buried itself into the flipper arm of Vertically Inclined. Vertically Inclined, though, staying aggressive. Vertically pushing towards the pit. Pit isn't open, though. If the pit was open, Quack would be out now, but unfortunately this was not the case. Vertically Inclined is, for obvious reasons, drastically slower now. Trying to keep the plow pointed towards Quack. Trying desperately to get far underneath the frame of Quack so that it can go for a nice toss, but no such luck has been granted to Vertically Inclined. Another big hit from Quack there, bending the flipper arm. A flying block comes out from underneath Vertically Inclined again. There it goes, flying away. 2 minutes have passed. Another good hit from Quack there. Vertically Inclined now sliding sideways on the gyroscopes on the bottom, taking a beating from Quack's spinner here, twirling it around. Full 360s here. Vertically Inclined looking to move away from Quack. Trying to get that pit open, like I mentioned earlier. Trying to go for a difference in tactic here. Quack spins down for some reason. Vertically Inclined almost pits its own wheel. I guess that's something you can do. Quack with some questionable positioning there. Vertically Inclined with some questionable positioning here. Quack with some decent hits there. No real damage done. Vertically Inclined desperately using that single wheel that's left over to try and push Quack around. Fast approaching the minute mark here. There goes a piece from Vertically Inclined. That might have been the gyro it was rolling on before. Definitely struggling with movement even more now. Vertically staying aggressive though, trying for a flip. Flipper still works, even though it's bent out of shape. Tries for another flip, misses though, needs to self-right, needs to get back up. Vertically Inclined's having a lot of trouble here mechanically. You can see that the frame is warping, the flipper's not really firing well. That was a good flip though, but it lands on the front end. Doesn't want to land like that because that messes up its winch system. Another good hit from Quack there. Vertically Inclined just desperate to keep the plows aimed towards Quack, but there goes the back wheel. And now it's running on purely the one gyroscope that is left on the right side of the frame. It's probably getting counted out as we speak, as we approach the 10-second marker. Vertically Inclined showing that it still wants to fight, but it gets counted out by the judges regardless. And that means that Quack wins by KO, meaning it moves towards the quarterfinals while Vertically Inclined has to go through the Losers Rumble. And off we go for the Losers Rumble. Vertically Inclined, Terabyte, and Megaminer both have to... Both? That's not how English works. All three of them need to score at least 2 wins in this Rumble to move on to the next round. Right now, Megaminer and Terabyte trying to focus down Vertically Inclined by the looks of things. Vertically targeting Terabyte there. Never mind, Megaminer targeting Terabyte. Vertically Inclined now trying to box in Terabyte. Gets a decent flip. Misses though, gets the hit on its wheel from Terabyte. Megaminer bounces into Vertically Inclined. Vertically Inclined faces Megaminer instead of Terabyte. Gets a decent flip there, a bit of collaborative effort, but both Vertically Inclined and Terabyte explode because Terabyte exploded. So that means that Megaminer wins by technical KO, meaning that the other two have to score a win right now to move on. And off we go. Vertically Inclined, the only one to move for some reason. Vertically Inclined and Terabyte are the ones that require a win here to move it along, because if Megaminer wins here, it has done it. Terabyte bouncing around there on a shell, doesn't want to be like that. Getting out into the center of the arena again, but Vertically Inclined not giving him space. Megaminer and Vertically Inclined both kind of focusing Terabyte. Vertically Inclined changes his focus now that Megaminer's closer. Decent collaborative effort again from Hammer and Flipper. Vertically Inclined goes for a flip, but gets thrown itself instead of Terabyte. Terabyte with a good pop on the side of Megaminer. Megaminer and Vertically Inclined boxing in. Terabyte and Terabyte falls over. Much like in its fight with a NASA load. Falls over and explodes. Possibly in a last-ditch effort to take another competitor with it, I guess. Now Megaminer and Vertically Inclined are the ones left fighting. It looks like Vertically Inclined is having some trouble with its flipper not coming back down. Oh, if you look closely, in the center of Vertically Inclined, there is a piece that is bent up, preventing Vertically Inclined's flipper from dropping down all the way. That's a very unfortunate bit of damage, as Vertically Inclined has not sustained damage there before, from what I know. Vertically Inclined opening the pit. Needs every bit of help it can get right now, with the flipper practically defunct. As long as Megaminer doesn't like climb up onto the flipper like it did there. Vertically Inclined staying aggressive with the flipper. Megaminer with almost a yeet there, as we call it. Another decent hit from Megaminer there. Cannot quite get that hammer down deep in Vertically Inclined's frame because it is very lacking in frame holes? I can't think of a better way to say it. English sucks ass. Anyway, Vertically Inclined staying aggressive. Has lost a flying block from the bottom of its frame by the looks of things. Needs to get itself right in here soon. Flipper is not really working properly at all. Had a lot of trouble backing the frame down from that awkward position. Another good hit from Megaminer there. Megaminer changing focus. Oh, good hit on Vertically Inclined there, ripping one of the wheels off. That means Vertically Inclined's in a similar predicament as its qualifier with Quack. It's looking very good for Megaminer here. Megaminer whiffs and misses. Gets a good hit there. Does a front flip and lands back on. Vertically Inclined once again stuck on its front like that. Doesn't want to be like that. Flipper not really working right. It's really slow. Another good hit from Megaminer. Vertically Inclined has taken a lot of damage, or its winch mechanism isn't working properly. Megaminer almost pits itself, but jumps out. Vertically Inclined staying aggressive, gets a decent flip there. A minute remains, or a little bit less. Vertically Inclined trying to position to get Megaminer to go near the pit, getting around to the side, gets a good flip there. Lands on his back again, though, with the flipper out of commission. That's not good. Oh, the frame is turning. Now the flipper's stuck in the pit. The flipper's not working. He's stuck. Megaminer, with a final push, puts it in the pit. And that means that Megaminer moves on to the quarterfinals by KO and pit KO. Sadly, we say goodbye to Vertically Inclined and Terabyte, but Megaminer moves on. And that's it for episode 12. Hackapolita, Huge Parasite, and Quack 4 all make it through the quarterfinals cleanly, while Megaminer had to put in some extra muscle to make it through the quarterfinals by the Losers Rumble. The randomized matchups for these 4 quarterfinalists are Quack vs Hackapolita, a rematch from the preliminary rounds, and also Huge Parasite vs Megaminer. In the next episode, we take a look at all the quarterfinal matches. We sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode. If you would like to get in on future tournaments, or just generally competing against other Besiege Bots, be sure to check the description for our Discord link. From everyone in the Besiege Bots Discord, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.